The Declaration of Independence is a challenging document to read. It's basically looks like a big block of text, but it is organized in a certain kind of way that I can help you understand. So you may have heard me say in class that you're going to get to know this document like the back of your hand. That's an expression people say because I guess you look at your hand a lot. Uh, I'm actually going to use the front of my hand, but it's the same. It's the same look, right? Because it does actually matter what finger is where. Because actually, we're going to use your hand because the document is actually divided into 5 parts. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So this is that last moment that you're unaware of how this document's organized. The beginning of the document starts with something called a preamble. It's a long run-on first sentence. And really, that's like the pinky of the document. It's the shortest of all of the parts. Okay. Pinky, preamble begin with the same letter. That's one way to remember. And out of all of like the fingers on your hand, honestly, right? This is the one you could live without this one. I mean, I'm not saying we want to chop it off, but if you had to, right? I mean, you could live with this. Just like the document can work without actually having a preamble. It would be kind of weird without it. So that's the first part. The next part, the ring finger part, again, usually has like or for many people has like a ring, wedding ring goes on this finger, symbolizes relationships. And that's because that's what this part is about. That's what this second, after the preamble, it's all about relationships between people and their government. So it has things about like rights that people have, the whole thing about like life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all men are created equal. They can kick out governments that aren't doing what they want them to do. It's that relationship. So that's this part. So it's longer than the preamble, just like my ring finger is longer than my pinky finger. But it's not the longest part. And that's really what you can help remember. Ring, relationships. Okay. Yeah. The middle part. Just like the middle finger, it's the longest part. It's the longest section, about half of the words almost. So actually, my middle finger should be like even longer. And here we go. It's basically the middle finger to England and the king, and has all the messages that a middle finger has when you use it, if you ever use it, on your own hand. So, like I said, pretty helpful to remember. That middle part is the longest part, and it's really the part like complaining. It's the part that's most directly against the, the people that they were declaring independence from. But they're not done there. They're not done there. So those are like, all right, there we go. 1, 2, 3 parts. The fourth part, and a lot of people miss this one. After that big long list, then they point out, all right, this is the pointer finger. They're pointing out across the ocean and to themselves. They're saying, we, America, we colonists, we rebels, we've tried to do things. We've tried to make this work out. And they list a couple of things they've done. They say, we've tried to like get people to understand our idea. And then they point right back across and say, like, that's it. This is your fault. This isn't our fault, it's yours. So this is the one pointing out the blame, is a way to remember this part. So it's still kind of a complaint, and it's still connected to the idea of like their rights in a relationship, but it's its own part that's really saying like, we've done this thing, you have messed up. And now we've gotten to the last bit here, which is sort of separate, just kind of like the thumb is separate from the rest of it. This is the part where they say, we're out of here. This is where they actually declare independence. They didn't do it in the beginning. They just sort of hinted about it. These were all their 3 big kind of sets of reasons. This is where they actually say, we're out of here. We are free. We're independent. We're going to stay. You guys get out. Take a hike, right? Like the hitchhiking kind of thumb. And then it's over. And again, it's short. It's also short. It's about as long as like the pinky, maybe just a little bit longer. Depends on your hand. But the thumb is the actual, like, we're getting out. So again, that sort of sets it apart from the other things here. And then it has the signatures at the end. There you go. You'll know it like the back of your hand.